I guess we'll call the meeting to order. The first order of business is a roll call.
William Metzinger,
Present.
Martin Vitek,
Here.
Tom Reamer,
Here.
James Schultz,
Here.
Thomas Trudeau.
Here. Approval of agenda. As presented.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Tom Reamer to approve. Martin Vitek second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the September 9th, 2024 committee meeting minutes. Have everybody read them? There a motion to approve or correct?
I'll make the motion.
Tom Reamer will make a motion to approve. Marty will second it. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, thing on the agenda is a report by the commissioner.
Public comment.
Oh, pardon me. Is there any public comments online or in person?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay,
Your
Go
video
ahead.
is not, your video is not on.
Oh. Video.
There you go.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
go ahead, Dan. Do you have a public comment?
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay. There's nobody waiting online?
No.
That's, okay, we'll move on then to reports by the highway commissioner.
All right, employees, I'm happy to say that we have a full staff. We have no change since our last meeting. I heard our last one, we started early September and it's working out well so far, so. Yeah, hopefully that status stays like that for a long time and especially through the winter here. Work schedule, so we've been to September, October, we did a lot of crack sealing. Yeah, we did county highways, C, N, F, GG. We also did quite a bit of crack sealing for the city of Ashland. We've been busy getting our trucks ready for winter roads. Checking out all our turnarounds and just making sure we're ready for plowing season. If you remember from the September meeting, we authorized to do some paving down at the Salt Dome. That is completed. That came out pretty decent. We had Douglas County help us with that. We did some shouldering for town of Shannon Golden on Lutz Road. Been doing patching here and there on county and state highways. Out on County Highway H on the island, we patched, there was a couple like deeper ruts, especially on Black Shanny, so we cut them out and repaved them back in, patched them in. We replaced two large culverts, 6-foot culverts on 112, one by Richardson Road and one down by Wilson Road, just north of the Anderson farm there. We did another culvert for the state on the cutoff road there at 77 and 13 down north of Glidden. So that's just some of the work we've done since the last meeting. Upcoming, well, we're currently mixing salt sand for the winter. We have to deliver that to a lot of the towns buy from us, so we deliver that. We're moving salt around. We're getting salt deliveries from Superior coming in and getting stuff ready, mixing liquids. Making sure we're all ready for the winter season here. So we'll be doing some brushing, looking at doing more brushing on GG. We finished this section from Mellon to Clam Lake basically last year, so we'll be working south on GG, getting that out further. And just winter maintenance, so that's the upcoming. Any questions on what we've done or what our plans to do are?
How often do you brush cut?
I mean, we try to every year. So, well, I guess maybe I should clarify that. Are you wondering like the machine that we cut it back, cut the grass and brush all the way back to the right of way? Try to do that on a 3 to 4 year rotation. somewhere on that schedule. I was talking more on GG, if you remember, it was pretty narrow into the road. We've been cutting it, everything 40 feet back from the center line, so that took us quite a few years to
I
get.
just noticed on Highway 13, probably be south of Glidden, all the brush seems to be real tall.
Yeah, that's getting close, so.
If it gets too tall, can you cut it or no?
Yeah, we can cut it up to
But it,
a couple inch around, but it works better if you just let it get small and then we can go pretty fast through there, but
okay, so like, is that area due next,
that is upcoming, yes. Yeah,
next year?
possibly this winter, depending on how the winter goes, we need to look at our state budgets here and see where we're at. Sit down with them to assess if we have any bandwidth left in our budget to do work yet this year, so.
Do you guys run across much of that buckthorn in your work grinding?
Not a lot, no. No, most of it, I think we cut it often enough that it doesn't really get a chance to get going. Yeah. What we do run into in the right of ways a lot is wild parsnip. That's some nasty stuff. It can burn you pretty bad, but the Bad River Tribe has a pretty good program. They come through and they do like spot spray, and they'll spray each plant. So we have some areas on C and some up north of here. They come, I think they're trying to keep it off the reservation, so they come through and they do that. It's they've been doing decent at controlling it. There's
Yeah.
still some out there. but-
Yeah, I see them on Walker Road.
Yeah. Any other questions on the work? Not all. Go into construction. County Highway GG, our paving project from Mineral Lake to Quarry Road this year, about 4 miles. So that's paved, striped and shouldered. Just a little for your information. Northwoods had the project, they paved it. They had a out of town crew come and do it. And they were obviously very inexperienced. It was very bumpy, real. I mean, it wasn't nice straight lines. It was a poor job. So in negotiations with them, Eric Fry is the area manager up here. I don't know if anybody knows him. We were looking at if they were to come back and fix the worst spots or what they would do or offer us a discount. But their upper management came in and they said, no, we're not gonna accept that job. They put another 1.5 overlay over the whole project. That they did a very nice job the second time.
Wasn't the same crew though.
It was not, they had the regular Northwoods crew do it this time. Or actually, they had American Asphalt crew, but they were a good crew. So, the county actually came out very well. We came out with our 2 inches that we had initially, and then another 1.5 inches over the top of that, but.
That's pretty expensive mistake.
That was a very, I would say, a $300,000 or $400,000 mistake on their part. But they went good on it, so I'm very happy.
Well, they want to keep their reputation.
Yeah, very happy with how that went. Very satisfied, but I just wanted you to, because we had went through and we shouldered it, we striped it, everything, and then they came back and they redid it again, so they paid for this. We did the shouldering, that was our portion, just to add to it, so they paid for the paint, the restripe and everything, so yeah, that's.
It'd be too late to start paving now.
Yes, the asphalt plants close on Thursday this week is their last day they're running for the year. Yeah. Tyler Street Bridge in Mellon, that is complete. Basically, there was a few punch lists. We did a walkthrough on it last week. Minor cleanup items. I believe the 137 is complete. I haven't seen the paperwork come through that it is, but as far as I know, that is done. Then I wanted to touch base on County Highway C. You remember we changed the big culvert down toward Wildcat Road there. So during that project, we dug up the Norvado fiber line. We had our locates, they came in clear, no conflict. We dug it up. They had it fixed. their lawyer did contact our lawyer and ask some questions about it. I've worked with Dan and through with Max and Katie. Our response, you know, we feel we have no liability as we did as we were supposed to. We had to locate, we had the paperwork to say that it was clear. So I don't know if they're just rattling the bushes to see if we would pay that, you know, they're saying the bill is $25,000. So just wanted to give you an update. If you hear anything on that, that's what happened there and what is happening. So
Why do you think that happened? Do you think it was deeper?
no, they just they came back and they said there was no lines in that area. And I don't know why. We had two culverts, the big one and the smaller one, both of them came. And then we dug the big one and then we relocated the second one and they came and said, oh yeah, there is a line there then. So I think it was just a problem with their, you know, they hire a locate company to do the work for them. And whatever, the maps weren't right, or somebody didn't look closely enough. You know, I don't know what the situation was, but it's unfortunate, but you know,
Whose line was it?
Norvato.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we don't like to hit lines, but I just wanted the committee to have an awareness of what was going on there. So. The only other update I have, I didn't put it on the agenda, but the Winter Road School, WCHA Road School will be January 13th through 15th at the Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells. If any of you are interested in attending, just get a hold of me and we can get you signed up and a hotel reservation made. So it's always a lot of good information on topics for highway and committee. The winter one is especially geared toward committee people. So I know Marty has been there before.
Yeah, it's worth it.
So yeah, if anybody's interested, I don't know if we'll have a meeting before then. I wanted to bring it up. So if anybody's interested, let me know. So other than that, I'll take questions on any of that update.
I have a question.
Sure.
I heard a rumor in the village. When we had DOT here a year or so ago, they said 13 from north of Glidden to the county line, Price County was gonna get done in 28, then they moved it up to 27. 26 was supposed to be culverts. I understand the village might have put a hammer into this, saying that they weren't gonna have their within the village ready to go till. Do you know what, if the
I
DOT
don't-
changed the
I
timeline?
don't know the timing on that I believe that through Glidden and Butternut. Well, Glidden now is, I did go to a public hearing meeting, whatever, informational meeting on that a week or two ago. I believe that is going to be done the year that the paving is done, so that would be 27. So they're gonna do their underground with them at that
Okay.
time. Butternut, I have not heard, but I believe the section through Butternut is excluded from the project.
Yeah,
I was contacted by DOT the other day, you know, I know they're looking at it because they were wondering about. Detour routes. And they're looking at a detour of using Highway F out to, is it North Road or North Park Road?
right.
And then up either to the cemetery, which I told them that they have a posting on that, or up to Zillinger.
Zillinger.
So that's, they would probably turn them on 4th Street and then get over to F and then out F to. that
Yeah,
North
I was
Park.
just worried because the DOT said they moved it up 1 year, paving to 27
Yes,
instead of 28. 26 would be the culverts.
yes.
And then all of a sudden I hear this rumor in the village that the village was trying to postpone their portion. And I'm thinking, don't screw the rest of this project up. You know,
The rest of it will get done. It will not affect that. The village will
Okay.
be excluded, and I do not have a date on that. The year of that project
I
yet.
I'm not getting into their business, but I don't know why, when you're gonna do a whole road
Yeah.
on both sides of you, you wouldn't do yours, but that's. Like I say, because that's my number one complaint. Well, there's two complaints down there. One is when is that highway gonna get fixed? and at least I've been telling them 26 culverts, 27 paving. The other is that, and Bill kind of mentioned it, is the brushing on the south end of the county. Everybody said, wait a second, when you hit Glidden, north of Glidden, it's like a super highway all the way to Ashland. What's going on with south of Glidden? And you've been through there a dozen times.
Yeah.
That everybody asks, well, how come everybody else gets it? And I said,
Okay.
well, it's a state thing.
Mhm.
But I said, so maybe call DOT.
Yeah, that would help. I mean, they do respond to
Yeah,
public complaints or
you know,
comments.
Just tell them the brush grows faster in butternut.
yeah.
But I mean, I can push it to get that cut back. I mean, that's a major logging. You
Yeah,
know, a lot of that to the north, we found a logger that was interested and they came in through and took it
yeah.
out for us, so.
And I told him that, I said, you talk about a lot of trees.
Yeah,
But I, like you say, and I had contacted DOT a couple years ago and they're aware of it, that it said, hey, you know,
Sure.
don't forget about that south of Glidden, because
Yep.
it is really nice when you drive north.
yeah.
I mean, you can
It
see the
helps.
deer, you can, you know,
It helps.
it's easier plowing too.
It helps our roads for plowing. It gets the
Yeah.
sun on them a lot faster, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, but anyways, thank you.
You're welcome.
Matt, that Fish Creek riprap project, you'd mentioned a few meetings ago or whatever, rock. There, did that ever get done or is it?
That was a DOT project this summer. Yeah, that was completed in, I want to say August sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. The Fish Creek bridge approaches are not great, which that's in Bayfield County, but I believe we're gonna give Bayfield County a hand on Wednesday and Thursday of this week to try to patch them in a little bit better. But yeah, that project is completed. Rip rap.
How's the dam coming?
The Hudson Bay Dam?
Yeah.
So we finished the road into there this summer. So you can drive right up to the dam. We pressure washed it, so it's all clean. We got all the growth. It was all that green mossy gross algae. I don't know what it. We pressure washed that off. Bruce is dealing with the Flambeau Engineering. They're supposed to be getting some inspections or telling us the next steps. I mean, he called me a couple weeks ago and have you heard from her? And I said, I haven't, and he hasn't either, so we're kind of waiting on them. We do have a sign, a dam sign that we need to put up ahead of it. It's one of the requirements, but. So yeah,
But we did get a written easement from Militello's.
yes, we have the permanent easement through there. We have the road built right to it, so it's easy to access to work on. Just
So will that matter be permanently put to bed then after this, you think?
well, I mean, it'll have to be on a rotation to get inspected, you know,
Yeah.
however often that, but once, yeah. I believe there's a few minor just hairline cracks that need filled and a few maintenance items that need to be done, and possibly a catwalk to be built. But we're waiting on guidance from this engineering firm to next steps. So,
Is that road into there going to be a town road or
no,
is it just a private road?
yeah, so up to their property, it's actually a federal road. It's a Forest Service road. It's got a number, I don't remember the number. And then their driveway to their cabin site. And then, well, the road went past there a little ways. And then we just extended that to the dam. So it's just a private driveway with, we have a permanent easement to access that.
So will that be plowed?
It will not. No. You have to take a snowmobile in there in the winter time. Yeah, you wouldn't want to plow it. It's about as wide as this room and like that.
I didn't know how much work you've done.
Yeah,
Because I bet I was the assessor there for a long time and I'd walk in
sure.
and from the main road, I'd walk that way.
We went through even the forest road and we got permission from the Forest Service to cut some of the small trees along the edge and some of the branches that were overhanging, so we could get a dump truck in there and it wouldn't wipe out our mirrors. And damage our trucks, but that's about all the more it is that, so. Yep, and we kept the road into the dam fairly narrow. It kind of makes a little loop, so it's not just that she didn't want a big wide straight path right to it. Yeah, it looks nice. It came real good. Anything else, or you can move on?
Next, we're gonna talk about the sale of church sign proposal.
So you'll see in your packet, page 5 or 7, Binsfield Road and Farm Road. There's a sign base. You see in these pictures, the sign base here. I believe it's probably from the vet clinic from years ago, hasn't been used. But it actually sits on county property, and that was a bit of a surprise to me. Dan called me up and he said, the sign on your right of way, and I'm like, that's a city street. This Binsfield is a city street, it's not a county road. But when I dug into it, the county owns all the property on Binsfield. I believe it looks like we had bought it, maybe thinking of making it a county road at one point.
It was.
It was a county road?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right, I remember that.
I know, I
When
visited
it
with-
first started, yeah.
Okay, Pat Colgrove, and he said they couldn't get any more right away through the Maple Lane portion, so the county kind of backed out of it or something, so. So we do own the property. There's this vacant sign sitting there. The church is asking for permission to put a sign up in that framework. Their letter they sent to us says at any time, that we want to terminate basically, or if you need to sign, they will remove the sign within 30 days or less.
Who actually owns that structure?
You know, I don't know who put it up, but it's on county property. That's all I know. I assume the vet clinic put it up, but it is on county property.
Is the vet clinic still there?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They do have a
Well,
sign.
there's a new vet clinic.
They have a sign by their driveway.
It's not the same one.
Yeah.
That built that. They
Sure.
down
She
by the-
passed some years back,
Yeah.
right?
That's way.
And then they built a new one down there by the Jehovah Church.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So there's another vet in there, but it's a small animal.
Okay.
Strictly vet.
So Dan sent this to me. I mean, he sounded like he didn't have no issue with it, but he wanted to reserve, the county has that 40 acres or however big that piece is. Just north of the vet property there, if we were ever to develop that or do anything with that, we might want the use of that sign. So the church is willing to remove it within 30 days when we ask, so.
That chunk of land that we do own down there. They were talking about putting a jail there years ago.
Mhm.
Is anybody using that now, or it was mostly field, wasn't it?
It looks like the field is mowed, you know, someone makes the hay,
Well,
I don't
who
know
would
any.
be doing that part?
I don't know if Dan would have any information, I don't know.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah, I think we lease it out to a farmer for hay.
could you check into that sometime?
Yeah, sure.
And then how much we get?
I doubt much, but okay, yes.
It's probably a good idea to keep that tucked because then they won't.
Keep the
grow up
brush
and
down.
Keep the brush down,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think the thinking was when we leased it out was that way we don't have to mow it or do anything to it.
County doesn't have any cost to maintain it as it is.
Right.
So, yeah, it's up to you guys if you wanna approve the use of the sign or not, I guess, so.
Does anybody have any questions or more discussion? If not, we'll need a motion one way or another. Marty,
I'll make a motion that we approve the sign to the Salem Church. Whatever.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Jim seconds it. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now, will this be brought to the board?
I don't believe so.
Okay,
Dan just asked if our committee would approve it because it's basically highway property.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think this needs to go to the board unless Gary wants it to.
No, well, I feed membership to the church now, apparently.
Next, we're going to discuss the post office site expenses.
So as you all know, the exec and then the county board approved the post office lease last week. So as per the lease, we need to provide water, sewer, power and grading to the site as per our lease agreement. So my proposal in talking with Dan is that this funds would come out of our highway improvement fund. I don't have a firm estimate. I'm hoping I can do it for 30, but it could be as much as 50, depending on, we gotta get a soil sample. We're going to tap into the highway, our well system. We're gonna have probably Joma Electric come with a bore machine and bore a water line into our building, pull it back, and then also at that time, they will bore across the road to the pole, put a conduit in for the electrical. I've been in talks with Excel. I need to, after this meeting, to fill out the application for the power. But the designer he thinks that's a good idea if we can, sounds like we could get Joma in the next week or two to do the bore before winter sets in here. He said if we would wait for Excel to come, it's gonna be, they're a couple months out. So, according to the lease agreement, we need to have the utilities at the property line by the first of the month following when we sign the lease, so. I'm thinking Gary will sign it soonest if he hasn't already. Gary needs to sign that lease agreement. And so by December 1, we would be required to have all the utilities in place, so. So the funding for it, like I say, I'm hoping 30, it could be a little bit higher, up to 50. I don't think it'll go over that. I don't know that we'll hit 50. We're gonna have some of our fund dollars into the site also. Use improvement fund money for that. And then the lease payments would come back to the improvement fund also. And depending,
We're not gonna get any money back for like 5 years.
well, at 6 months, we start getting the payment, so yeah, it starts out, the first 5 years is $6,720, so that'd be like $33,000 over 5 years. So it'll take us a good 5+ years to get our payback on it, but then after that point, it would be excess funds to come into the improvement fund, which it totals $205,131 over the 25-year lease, so it's a decent deal for the county.
Are you thinking that this will be a permanent account for the revenues and expenses? In other words, for the life of the lease, all of the revenues and expenses, it will be run through this account?
That's my understanding of talking with Dan, he is fine with that money coming to this account, coming and going, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Do you have a time frame when the post office will be there?
I have not heard from them. You know, they've been pushing, they've been emailing Dan almost weekly through September, wondering when we're gonna get the lease signed. So I'm assuming that they want to move fairly fast, but I don't know what post office fast means. I mean, according to Marty, it's a couple weeks late, so.
They have a different version of fast.
But yeah, I want to do my part to have everything ready at the property line by December 1st.
What about sewer?
So we have a perk test being done right now.
Okay.
We're gonna find out if a holding tank is required or if we can put in some type of a drain field. Hoping we can do a drain field that's we're in a kind of a sandy with clay veins and it across the highway it turns to clay, so it's kind of a transition zone. It's maybe not, we don't know yet for sure.
Would be responsible for pumping that and stuff.
They are responsible for all the utilities. We just have to get it into place. So if it ends up with a holding tank, that, I mean, that's just gonna be their responsibility to have it pumped. But if we can get in a conventional system of some sort, I'm willing to do that, and I think that'd be a good option, so. Yeah, power, water, sewer, and the site work, so. Yeah,
And the big wheels feel that there's gonna be enough business to keep that open for X number of years.
yeah, so our lease basically says, I mean, they're guaranteeing 10 years is how I read it. It's kind of 5 in one spot and then 10 in another
Mhm.
spot, so. So we'll get our money back
Yeah.
in 10 years. Whether it goes for the full 25 of the lease, who knows, but
Mhm.
hopefully, I mean, it's a big benefit for the community. Right now, our mail in the area is really poor.
And that's the kind description.
So yeah, we need a approval to use improvement fund dollars to fund the upgrades.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion by Marty to make that motion. I'll second. Second by Tom Reamer. Is there any, how much money? How much money do we have in that?
In that 1.2 to 1.3 million range.
Okay, so we have enough.
That should cover it, yeah.
Okay, is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried.
Just a note, and I'm sure that everybody at the top level is aware of this. If they come with a question about plowing or mowing the lawn, they can pay for it.
Yes,
They have,
yes,
the government GS has contracts for all of that.
yes.
And if they think we should mow that and plow that road, then,
Well, once it gets built, then we'll approach them.
well.
Yeah, I mean, even when we start talking when the building gets going here, I'm gonna bring it up. I hope Dan will, if he has that opportunity. We would be willing to contract for the plowing and the snow removal.
Grab me a couple.
And the grass.
I mean, I
Yeah,
meant
that's.
plowing and the grass,
Yeah.
cutting grass, I said. Another thing to note is. Pat Kinney offered, he has a septic tank at his farm that he's not using, if we would like it, and so. I'm gonna look into if it, sounds like it's pretty newer tank, if it will meet the system, it might save the county a few $1,000s, we'll have to obviously go pick it up, whatever.
Ask first before you put it in.
Yeah, no, it'll have to be all approved, but.
Yeah.
I did talk to the guy doing the soil test and he said if it fits size wise, there shouldn't be a problem with that, but. So yeah,
What kind of thing?
it's a concrete septic tank,
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
concrete, you probably got a chance.
yeah,
Metal ones, you'd be real leery of.
yeah,
One of mine, he just took the backhoe and folded it up and put the concrete one
Yeah.
over the top,
Yeah.
so.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know, is it in the ground? Does he have it out of the ground? I don't know any of that details yet, but that's something we will
It's-
take a look at.
It's out of the ground and it's in really good condition.
Perfect.
I've seen it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to find out on the gallon size and if it meets the specs needed for this, so. Which I'm assuming it would, I mean, I don't believe there's any showers or. The toilet and hand washing sink in here, so it's not that they need a very large capacity.
Yeah, they've got the plastic ones up at L&M that they sell, I don't know, $1,000 or something.
Yeah, I don't know if them are approved for Wisconsin or not, I don't know. But yeah, we'll try to use it if we can.
The reason the other one closed is the post office wanted to have them updated.
The other post office?
Yeah, the other post office. that we poured out.
That wasn't my information that I believe there was. One family owned the building. Another family or people
land.
owned the land. And they weren't meshing and I don't, it was on the property end of it that my understanding.
Okay.
Too many people involved.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for that. We will get busy on getting that site work ready.
Yes, moving on. Do we have anything that we want to put on the agenda for future meetings? Is there something you got a question at or want to go see or?
Post office,
What?
post office,
Oh,
like
the-
the progress report, yeah.
You got a tour of the post office when it comes?
Yeah.
Um. Okay,
They're gonna put one of them ready-made ones in there.
That's my understanding is something like Grandview has. Modular buildings.
so could they just haul it in and it'd be there in a week?
Yeah, I don't
All
know if
hooked
it
up.
needs a slab or what it needs. I'm assuming it needs to set down low to be handicapped accessible, but I don't know. We haven't seen any details. Yeah,
Do we have, I guess, is there anything else that needs to be brought up before we schedule the next meeting date? When would be a good meeting date?
I don't anticipate needing anything in December unless you guys want one. Our January date would be the 13th, but that is the week of road school, so I will be at road school and hopefully some of you are also. So I'd be good with either the 6th or the 20th. If that's whatever, what you guys think.
Of January.
Yes,
I'm going to be gone to South Padre Island. Hopefully, January, February, March.
You say we're gonna have next meeting at Grand Haggard.
sounds fun.
When you going before the 6th?
I don't know, whatever my wife says.
I might be down there in December sometime. I mean, we could hold a meeting.
Oh,
I think about it.
so then. Being, if I am online. I think the deputy or the deputy chairperson,
Vice Chair.
vice chair, okay, should probably run the meeting.
Sure,
Because
but you'll
Too damn hard to do it on.
Well, let's just settle for the 6th, maybe over here.
What day is the 6th?
It's a Monday.
Then if something does come up, we can reschedule.
We can
once.
reschedule it. Tentatively for the 6th.
Nothing else is on. We can adjourn, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Tom Reamer makes a motion to adjourn, seconded by. Patrick.
This quiet guy next to me made a second. I thought.
I thought he was.
He nodded his head.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.